Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong and the 5 Titan battles that we have to see in Godzilla vs. Kong. Just because of the magnitude of this movie, probably we won't get a movie like this anytime soon in the future after it's released. And what I really mean by that is, likely for all intents and purposes, this will be the last Godzilla vs. Kong movie for a few decades, potentially, just because I don't see them rebooting this whole franchise or really bringing Godzilla and Kong back together within the next decade. So it'll probably be a very long time until we see both of these two iconic monsters, two iconic kaijus on the same screen yet again, fighting one-on-one or 2v1 against a common foe. But with Godzilla vs. Kong set to start their marketing campaign sooner rather than later, I thought it'd be exciting to talk about what kind of battles they may deliver in this movie. And of course we'll receive, a big climatic battle between Godzilla and Kong. But what about the 4 other battles we may get in this movie? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first one I really hope we get is an initial battle between Godzilla vs. Kong, which is different than the climatic one, because the climatic one will be more intense, it'll be going back and forth, and they'll probably leave it very ambiguous who wins it. Something will happen to interrupt them, like they'll both fall off a cliff or something, and we'll just see them both kind of going off into the distance later on in the movie. And it'll end that way, leaving it ambiguous to who really won, leaving it up to you, the audience. But with the initial battle, I think it'd be really cool if we could see something where Godzilla and Kong are mostly testing each other, to see what their strengths are, what the other's weaknesses are, and how they kind of match up here and there. And the reason I say that is because Godzilla has obviously some pretty monstrous strength from his thick build, but it's mostly applicable with his tail and by him just smashing his weight into things. And he also has his atomic breath as an X factor, although for all intents and purposes the plot will introduce a reason for him not to use it often, essentially nerfing him. And Kong, on the other hand, has been described as craftier and more of a true combatant by the director, and he's also able to use his surrounding areas strategically to make a weapon or make a shield as needed. So that, alongside of his upper body strength to lift and throw objects, I think gives Kong a surprise with his range that maybe Godzilla and other Titans aren't really expecting. So to kind of see this battle, it probably wouldn't finish just like the other battle, because I think there's something in the contracts that says Godzilla cannot officially lose a battle, something like that. Each battle has to be open-ended in a way where Godzilla basically will come back and eventually win it. So you can argue that Godzilla never officially lost, he simply just never finished the fight at that moment. It's kind of weird how they do those contracts for certain characters, because obviously the brand is so important for a character like Godzilla. But I would love to see a battle like that where they're just kind of testing each other, not fighting super seriously, more so out of curiosity than anything else, to see, what does the other alpha have up their sleeve and how do I match up in case, I guess, a character like Kong decides to make a run for the title formally as Alpha of the Titans versus simply being more of a rebellious Titan. Now, the other battle I'd love to see is Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Now, I'm mentioning this, and I'll mention Mechagodzilla again in a later matchup, just going based off the toy leaks that came out and plot rumors that have emerged of Mechagodzilla being within this film, basically being the human conspiracy that the governments have against the Titans, serving as an anti-Titan weapon. Now, if true, I'm not sure how fast or mobile the Mechagodzilla in the Monsterverse will be due to the technology we've seen so far in the Monsterverse, but I do expect Mechagodzilla to be loaded up his butt with weapons and also extremely durable. So he'll probably be quite a test for Godzilla's offense, I guess, for the entire fight, while also showcasing maybe how good Godzilla is with defense. And I would love to see this fight really kind of showcase what Godzilla in this kind of moment in time has to offer with regards to hard-hitting attacks. I'm talking the atomic breath. I'm not talking Fire Godzilla, but I'm talking just in general. I would love to see Mechagodzilla tank whatever Godzilla has to throw at him, just because you would think that Mechagodzilla is designed to take whatever Godzilla, has recorded to do against other Titans. And I think it'd be really cool for this battle to provide Godzilla potentially with his only true defeat in this movie, if you want to call it that, serving as a reason he would later team up with a being like Kong to fight Mechagodzilla and also to maybe show that humanity can take on the Titans if necessary, which could feed into the plot and the whole human conspiracy aspect. Now, the third fight I would really like to see is Kong versus Mechagodzilla, and that's because in my mind when I view this battle, I kind of view it as a bit of a machine versus nature kind of battle. You know, Kong using maybe Skull Island to his advantage, demonstrating his mastery of that environment to either disorient Mechagodzilla's sensors or in general just to really take advantage of Mechagodzilla in ways a larger, more kind of thunderous titan such as Godzilla couldn't do, because, you know, just biologically two different kind of creatures. Now, this battle would be really interesting as well, because if it happens after the initial fight between Godzilla and Kong, I would love to see if maybe Kong approaches this battle recognizing similarities between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla differently than how he approaches Godzilla, maybe showing different strategies and moves that he was saving for his round 2 against Godzilla. And specifically, it'd be really interesting to see if maybe Kong is the one to recognize Mechagodzilla is a fake Godzilla before other Titans do, and for him to make that reveal, I think it'd just be really cool. It'd be a really cool moment for the character. It would make him a little bit more special as well within the plot, and really it does seem like what's going to happen in the movie, just because for all intents and purposes it looks like Mechagodzilla with the human conspiracy will be going around as Godzilla, committing, you know, atrocities all over the world to get other world governments to want to go against Godzilla and the Titans, even though obviously Godzilla is pretty benevolent, more or less. So it's pretty obvious to us, the viewers, that Mechagodzilla is the fake Godzilla, but to other Titans like Kong, until maybe a battle where they reveal the mecha parts of Mechagodzilla, you wouldn't notice. Now, the final battle I'd really love to see is Godzilla and Kong team up against Mechagodzilla. And this is just because if Mechagodzilla is involved in the film after all, we will get this matchup eventually for the final battle, and in this scenario, it'd be really awesome to see Godzilla and Kong use their fighting differences to complement each other in ways that, you know, they couldn't do things by themselves. And what I mean by that is, for example, Kong using his ability to grip and grasp things, his brute strength, to maybe temporarily hold a being like Mechagodzilla in place. And while he does that, Godzilla uses his atomic breath on Mechagodzilla. I think that'd be really cool, kind of that, just like in Civil War, how Bucky and Cap teamed up against Iron Man, a similar dynamic to that where they're just complementing off each other. I think it'd be really great. And as well, another interesting possibility would be a retelling or a redoing of the original battle of Godzilla and King Caesar versus Mechagodzilla. Even though King Caesar is not like King Kong in any way, I think it'd be really cool, because at the end of that movie, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, we got a really cool ending of Godzilla heading off to the sea, you know, King Caesar heading back to rest. And I think if they do a similar thing, kind of an homage, if you will, with Godzilla and Kong, with Kong going back to Skull Island to rest after the long battle, it'd be a pretty great ending. Also, I really hope the rumors of Godzilla or Kong dying aren't true, but leave your comments down below. What do you guys think about this? What battle would you like to see with other Titans, maybe outside of Godzilla versus Kong? What would you like to see? Leave your comments down below, and we'll see you guys later.